It's a video.
So wait, hey, happy to be here.
And for every
Wonderful opportunity to bring people together in the community and also to bring community vendors to provide resources. And so we're very grateful to be able to do that in collaboration with so many partners. And I will turn it now over to the Alderman, Alderman Burnett, for some additional words before we get started.
Good morning, everyone. So, first of all, we want to get out of the God. We in this season, Jesus in prison, so we're so grateful for this season. There are a lot of people out on holidays right now. But also, I'd like to thank the Department of Housing and everybody who's helped me put this together. Let's give them a round of applause. I would also be remiss if I did not acknowledge my staff who's walking around with the black shirts on. I want to thank them, give them a round of applause also. And I want to thank all of the other departments that are going to be on the panel. I think it's CHA, Chicago Housing Trust, and the ARO folks. So some of you may or may not know, for years, I've been encouraging people to do affordable housing. Before we even had an affordable housing ordinance, right? So for years, we've been encouraging folks that they want to build this board, you got to give me, in some areas, some CHA and some affordable housing, right? And we've been able to do that in several buildings around our ward. And then so then since that time, myself and other folks encouraged for the city to have an ARO ordinance, which started out with 10% affordable housing. So every developer that gets a zoning change has to do 10% affordable housing, so that's called the ARO. Then that legislation increased to 15%, then we got it to 20%. So now it's 20%. In some areas, thank you. In some areas in our ward, around the Fulton Market, we try to encourage folks to do 30% affordable housing. So a lot of folks don't know, like a lot of those buildings in the Fulton Market and in the West Loop area, some of them have affordable housing units in them. And it's called the ARO. And people, I wanted to put this together because people somehow did not know about that. I want to make sure everybody knows, but also that they know about the income requirements and what you have to go through in order to qualify for it. And like I say, even if all of you all that are here may not need it, but you may know somebody who needs it. Probably that person you want to get out of your house. You know, don't get your own apartment, right? So I want us to learn and understand what the opportunities are, because we fight. I mean, you know, back in the day, I got in a big fight with Mayor Davey about affordable housing. He didn't want that ordinance passed. We got in a little fight on the floor, and I thought, you know, I wouldn't be seen the next week after that. But God blessed us to still be here, and the ordinance passed, right? And so a lot of great things have happened since then. We passed other legislation to encourage SROs in the ward, in the city. If SROs want to sell, they got to resell first to an affordable housing developer, and that affordable housing developer rehabs it, gets some money from the city, and keeps some affordable housing in those areas. So a lot of these SROs have been rehabbed and changed. And also, we all are still pushing for the transformation of public housing on CHA's property throughout the city of Chicago. And a lot of y'all may or may not know, when they transform those neighborhoods, it's market rate, affordable, and CHA units. So it's not just CHA housing. It's housing, it's affordable housing for people who need affordable housing too. So this is about all of that. And so we want people to know, and you know, people come up to me sometimes. One of the main reasons why I wanted to do this is folks will come up to me and they be like, look, I put my application in, they didn't want me to move in there because, you know, they don't like me and all that stuff, and then I had to call the different departments and figure out, you know, what's the deal? Well, it's an income thing, it's an income situation. So I want folks to understand what the qualifications are to meet the criteria in order to be able to rent some of these apartments and or buy some housing. Also, I need to say we have housing working with the Chicago Land Trust, Housing Trust. We have houses that's been for sale for a long time. And some of these developers, I've made deals with developers in the past where I say, okay, you know, me and the community will work with you and allow you to build these expensive condos that cost $1 million, but you got to give us some affordable houses somewhere else in the ward, right? If you don't want to build them in your building, you can build them outside your building. You can build them on the west side, or you can build them somewhere else. Well, so we've been able to encourage those kind of things. So we got houses for sale that are affordable as low as 200-something thousand to 300-something thousand. And some of them are in buildings where they sell, you know, probably for a lot of money. But some of them are brand new houses, and they really appraised for a lot more than that. But people, I guess they don't know. So I want folks to know, because we still have a lot of them available. So we have a couple of developers here, property owners here, that own some of these units that we encourage folks to build outside of the development where they are, that folks can qualify for and possibly buy. And so we also have agencies here like the Garfield Park Community Council, NHS, several other organizations, BMO Harris, Guaranteed Rate. All these folks who have great incentives for first-time home buyers to help you, right? Along with some of the delegate agencies that's working with the city, that we have a lot of different, you know, we give you money where you pay a low down payment and all of those things. So this is an opportunity for folks to be able to get some home ownership, but also get an affordable unit, and also move to some decent neighborhoods throughout the city of Chicago. So one, I want to thank you all for being here. We robocalled this about 3 times. We tried to e-blast it. We tried to get the information out as best as we could. So hopefully, after you all leave here, hopefully you may be able to get you an affordable apartment or whatever. But also, if not, you will be able to take this information and share it with some other people so that they can take advantage of it. This is not a one-time thing. This is a moving thing, and it's going to continue to happen throughout the year. And the thing is, because now we have 20% affordable housing, there's going to be so much more affordable housing happening in the future. So if you don't qualify for it now, you may qualify for it in the future. So again, I want to thank all of you for being here. Thank everybody who helped us to put this together. Thank everybody who's going to be on the panel. And I pray that you all can get blessed and get a decent and affordable place to live. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you all. Thank you, Alderman Burnett, for joining us. Thank you for inviting us out here and helping, and you and your wonderful staff for helping us put this event on for you all. I'm just going to preview real quick so my name is Aaron Johnson. I'm the project manager for community engagement and racial equity with the Chicago Department of Housing. So what I'm going to do is go through a quick presentation here that will go over what is affordable housing, how to access affordable housing from the Department of Housing, and then we have our panel here, but as the Alderman said, the Chicago Housing Authority. I can speak loud. Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So with the Chicago Housing Trust and with our ARO people here, I would say we will have about 10-15 minutes of presentation, about another 30 minutes of the panel asking some general questions about how to access their programs, and then we'll open it up for about 15 minutes of questions from you all to ask your questions. Then we'll open back up the resource fair because there may be some information that you hear during the panel presentation that may you go, oh, okay, go talk to them. All of our panelists will have information about their programs that can come and help with their individual situations. And with the Department of Housing, we have information about all of our programs, whether you're a renter, a homeowner, or a person looking to purchase. We have additional information about renter rights for renter and landlord rights and responsibilities. And we also have additional information for our Building Neighborhoods and Affordable Homes program. That is up to $100,000 based off your income. Purchase price assistance to purchase homes as well, which are all the homes that are for sale right now are located in this ward. So that is available back there. And the full list of ARO units, which you'll hear more about, that are leasing currently in the ward. So again, thank you. So we'll, if you have questions though, just say that you are in the panel, we'll be able to answer those, or come see us at the table, we'll be able to, if you don't get a chance here. So let's start. I'm gonna keep talking since I'm trying to figure out the sound system back there. Just gonna put this down. I don't think that's gonna be solved. All right. So what is affordable housing? Affordable housing, according to the federal government, is housing that costs less than a third of your income. So if you're putting 30% of your income, your gross income on housing or more, that's not affordable. So we make housing available to people at below market rates from a variety of different ways. We use but typically how we do this is we provide, as the department, we provide money to developers to lower their costs to make it affordable to everyone. So we use what's called low-income tax credits. That's provided by the federal government to the city of Chicago. We are one of 3 cities in the country who can use this: New York, Chicago, and LA, because we're large enough that we can operate as states. Typically, it's gone to states. The state of Illinois also does this through the Illinois Housing Development Authority, who's also here today. So we have 2 entities that provide tax credits to help lower the price. We also use tax increment financing, which is TIF. You all may hear about that. There's a lot of conversation going on about TIF. There's always conversations about TIF, but that's other ways that we use money from TIF districts to help lower pricing. And we also use community development block grant. So that also comes from the federal government, and we can use that to lower construction prices or to provide homeowner support as well. So they tell me that the sound is short. Test, 1, 2. Great, you all hear me? We're back. Okay, I should be on. Okay, so the other way that we do this is through our ARO. ARO stands for the Affordable Requirements Ordinance. That is a tool which we have, and you'll hear more about this from my colleague Sam, in which we, when developers are building, as the Alderman said, like nice, very beautiful buildings and developments, we are saying as a city is like, great, if you're doing that, someone needs to be affordable. The city is giving them a zoning change. We're not putting any money in this. So that's why we have to make it work though, but they still want to make money on their things because we're not giving them any money. But that's another way that we do that, which is now at 20% of the development is around affordable housing, either in the building itself or nearby, but all of those things will need to have the exact same amenities. You cannot treat people any different based on affordability or not. And so what we consider affordable housing is, or who we target that for is 60% of the area median income. I'm gonna go deeper into what area median income is quickly, soon. And households that earn less than 50% of AMI may qualify for a housing subsidy. The housing subsidies are things such as the Chicago Housing Authority, Chicago Low-Income Housing Trust Fund, Chicago Rents, and some other kind of programs you may hear, or vouchers, or other things that you may hear, or project-based subsidies, or things that you may need. So you may qualify for that. So what is affordable housing and what is public housing? So we have both the entities here of the local government that provide affordable and public housing, and we get a lot of questions about this because a lot of times people think we are the housing authority, and then the housing authority thinks you get people that think they are us. So public housing is housing that is owned and or managed by the government for the purpose of providing housing strictly to low-income families at or below the 30% area median income. So public housing is overseen by the federal United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, and it's usually administered by local housing authorities such as the Chicago Housing Authority here. So private affordable housing developments usually set aside a percentage of their incomes for low-income and larger mixed developments, around 20 to 100% of those units, depending on the sources. So that's what we, as the Department of Housing, do is with work with private developers. And it also kind of gets more confusing because we like to partner with our Chicago Housing Authorities, as the Alderman stated, to have public housing, affordable housing, and market rate housing to make sure we have mixed income communities, and that Chicago is a place where everyone can thrive. Okay, so I've talked about area median income. So what this is this number is provided by the federal government to us. It is updated every year, typically in the spring. So what they do is they take the metropolitan area, so that's including Chicago, Naperville, Joliet, in here to develop the median income. So we just take everyone and we say in the middle, that person is the median income. So what you would hear for the very low affordable housing or subsidized housing, we have we typically target around the 30% area median income. Here it is. It's also based on the number of people you have in your household. So we also work in here, but also CHA typically do 30% and below. Another, as I told you all, that number that we try to go around is the 60% area median income for us. That is, as you can see, about $46,000 for a single person, or for a family for about $66,000. So this is what we call income restricted housing. So that's our affordable requirements ordinance. That is our low-income housing tax credits, housing that we subsidize on TIF, and we're doing around the 30% up to 80%. So it's kind of averaging out to that 60%. So those are where we target our homes. And then for our affordable housing, for home ownership opportunities, we typically go up to that 120, and sometimes at 140% of the area median income. I know these are going to probably sound like high incomes, which I'm going to say. So $92,000 for a single person, 120, and $132,000 for a family of four. But we still find that in the city, people who are making those incomes still need support in being able to purchase homes as well. So here's just a graphic to kind of illustrate what I said. So for a family of four, 30% is around $33,000. 60% of the area median income is $66,000, and 120% is $132,000. For a single person, it is $23,000 at 30% of the area median income, $46,000 at 60%, and $92,000 at 120. So that's just that same information, just illustrated in a different way. So you're going to hear area median income. That's what we're talking about when we're saying these ways, these numbers, and kind of where we're talking about. But as I said again, it is around your family size, so it's a little different for every individual situation. Okay, so this also is just giving an example of what our income restricted units would look like. So I'm going to throw out a disclaimer where we fund, as the Department of Housing, fund income restricted units. It is tied, so let's say the studio at 60% AMI, that unit is restricted at that number. It's updated every year. But it is possible, let's say that you may make 50% of the area median income, or 40% of the area median income, and that still may be a little bit too much for you. So our housing is a little bit different from the CHA, is that our housing is not tied to your income. You restrict the unit and hope people for that income to live here. So it is a great opportunity though, if you are a person that has a subsidy or a housing choice voucher or other kind of subsidy program, you can tie that also with our units as well. We're going to answer questions at the end. So it's possible, what I just said was, so we fund programs to restrict the unit's income limit. So our incomes, you have to make at least the max, you can make the maximum amount or below, but ours has the rate restricted. So it's not tied to, the rate is not based off of your income. So it's possible that say if you're in a 60% unit, but you make 30% of the area median income, that still may be a little bit too, like not affordable for you. So it's possible. I'm just throwing out as a possibility and just how our numbers work for our programs in the Department of Housing. Okay, so this is just kind of just to be an example of who kind of lives in affordable housing. So I did actually look up actual salaries for these things. So these are actually real people, but I did not actually say real people. So I looked at CPS data for this first one. So a family of 4 with one parent working in a lunchroom as a lunchroom attendant making around $24,000, and the other parent who makes 42 as a classroom attendant, it's around $66,000 combined. That family would be below 60% of the area median income. For this other scenario, a single parent with one kid. The parents may be working basically $20 an hour, working 30 hours a week, which is about $30,000 a year. They are below 40% of the area median income. And then, let's say a retired person living off the average Social Security benefits would make around $22,000 a year, and that would be below 30% of the area median income. So just to kind of think about, we have a wide variety of people who live in our developments, and it is often a lot of our neighbors who are people who would qualify for the affordable housing that we're trying to build in our communities. Okay, so how, if you are interested in finding affordable rental housing in the Department of Housing, how would you do that? So our programs are, as I said, we fund developers to do that, so we do not manage or run any wait lists, we do not manage or run any application processes. So you would need to talk to the development itself to access those applications. What we have on our website, though, is the list of all of our developments, which is chicago.gov/AF rent resource list. You don't have to worry about writing all this stuff down. We have all this information back at our DOH table as well if you don't capture this. So we have all this information for you to capture. What you can then do there is you can filter based on your community area, type of development. So if it's a multi-generational one, if you're looking for senior housing, if you're looking for an ARO unit, you can filter that there. Your zip code that you want to live in, and then you can inquire with the property or leasing company, which is for the number is provided in there. We also, as I said, have a list of all the ARO units on our back with their website, phone number, and property management company that you can access back here. What I will note is this process is a bit daunting. Because we do not have a centralized application or wait list or anything like that, you have to call each individual building. Some of them may have a wait list open, some may not. So my recommendation is that you call, if you have a neighborhood that you want to live in, or maybe 2 neighborhoods you want to live in, call through all of those to see which one you can get into. I would not just put all your names in one basket and call one only and try to access one building. We are, I will just say, trying to improve that process. That is a goal for us as a department of how to make this easier for people to access housing. But unfortunately, it's the system we have currently. I'm going to pass my mic over to my colleague Sam from our Affordable Requirements Ordinance, who will tell you a little bit more about that program, and then we'll go into it now.
My name is Sam, and I just want to talk to you a little bit more about the affordable requirement ordinance, what we're trying to do with it as a tool. Obviously something Alderman Burnett has championed, gotten put in place. The affordable requirement ordinance is the city's inclusionary housing tool. So that's trying to get affordable units built in areas and markets where they generally wouldn't be built otherwise. So we're talking about some of the higher end neighborhoods, some of the expensive neighborhoods where developments are going up and being charged very expensive rents. Alderman Burnett then says, or excuse me, the affordable requirement ordinance says, give us 20% of those units built for an affordable price. Also tries hard, this inclusionary housing tool, tries hard to target neighborhoods that are at risk of displacement. Neighborhoods that are changing quickly and a development's going to go up and change neighborhoods who are at risk of displacement. So we're trying to target gentrification and stem that process a little bit. The inclusionary housing does both of those things. So with the affordable requirement ordinance, two tools we've been using in 2023 that we're excited about and trying to push more are deeper levels of affordability. As Aaron said, there's a wide range of income levels here. 30% is hard for us to get to frequently, but now with a weighted income average, we're able to allow developers to get us some more 30 and 40% AMIs to get deeper levels of affordability in these projects. We also are working hard to do family-sized incentives with that affordable requirement ordinance. So that's most market rate developments build 1-bedrooms and studios is the vast majority of the apartments that get built. So we're not getting enough 3-bedrooms, 4-bedrooms, family-sized units. We're working with developers and saying, hey, if you can build us more 3- and 4-bedroom units, we'll allow you to decrease your ARO requirement a little bit. So we're incentivizing them to build more family-sized affordable units in their projects. So those are outcomes from 2023 that we're excited about and working with in 24. Our goals now, specifically the one I want to mention is the leveraging public subsidies for really deep affordable units. As Alderman Burnett said, the Fulton Market Innovation District, FMID, is asking developers to give us 30% of their units at an affordable price. That's very hard for developers to do. So we're asking them to do that, and if we can get them to make a good faith effort and get to 30% affordable units, we're going to help them with subsidies as DOH. So very exciting things we're going to work on and get them coming out in the near future. In the last few years, we've got over 2,351 units were built in ARO. We've got more coming. We've got 847, so 1,000 almost, and completed and leasing, we've got 1,500. So we are doing our best and working hard to get affordable units built in expensive markets and to help stem displacement in some of our disinvested neighborhoods. So again, we're going to point to this. We have all of this information at the front, so don't worry. It's the ARO is where you can find chicago.gov/ARO is a big wall of text. We're working hard on one of my goals this year is to revamp this website, make it look a little smoother and more clear. You can click see a list of rental properties. Again, as Aaron mentioned earlier, I'm going to touch on that. Once these buildings are built, these units are run by property management teams and developers. We don't have the staff or time and money to keep track of every unit in every building. So we do ask that you contact the property managers of those properties. They have the insight and the knowledge of which units are coming up, which ones are going to be available, and how you can get in there as quickly as possible. We have all that information on the city website, the chicago.gov/ARO, and then you do have to talk to the property managers themselves to get in front of these units. That's important because we get a lot of phone calls that say, do you know which units are available? We have to send you to the building. Okay, that's everything I have for the ARO. So that's all rental, that's all leasing properties. The ARO also works hard to build for sale properties. Jenny, who works with the Chicago Housing Trust, and that's where all of our for sale units where you're going to have a chance at homeownership are located.
so blessed to partner with Alderman Burnett and the 27th Ward and many of the partners who visited earlier today. And essentially, we have an inventory of affordable units that we want to let you know about. We've got a lot of stuff right here in the ward and some stuff in the city. Essentially, we're here to help folks be able to purchase their first home when that's otherwise cost prohibitive, and also we ensure that neighborhoods remain stable as they change and preserve long-term affordability in communities that are facing landscape.
So thank you. So what's on you see on the screen now, just kidding. What you saw on the screen was how to scale it. Okay, what you see on the screen now is how to access the CHT's resources in the newsletter. Their table is in the back there. They also have their current lookbook, which has all their properties that are for sale currently. So please check them out if you're looking to purchase. Next slide, please. There we go. So here's, if you're interested in contacting the Department of Housing, here's how you get in contact with us. But we also want you to keep putting on more events like this. So please, before you leave today or this weekend, if you can tell us how we did, that would be helpful. So like I said, my name is Aaron Johnson. I'm the Chicago Department of Housing. We're now going to move into a panel kind of presentation. I think both my colleagues from the city has introduced ourselves, but my colleague from the Chicago Housing Authority has it. So I'm just going to just ask as I pass the mic down, just say your name, where you're from again, and then let Jessica from the Housing Authority introduce her and give a brief overview of the Chicago Housing Authority.
All right, again, I'm Sam. I'm with the Affordable Requirement Ordinance Team in DOH.
Jenny Thompson, I'm the Chicago Housing Trust.
Good morning, I'm Jessica Simmons, the Director of Public Engagement with Chicago Housing Authority. Good morning, everyone. So I guess I'll start the conversation off. CHA, right? Third largest housing authority in the U.S. We have a lot of inventory throughout the city. I'm excited to be invited to this discussion in the 24th Ward. Today we're going to talk about the process, right? How to get on, because everyone thinks, I know all of our witnesses are closed, right? That's the first thing to say. I'm here today to talk about which is our public housing. It is some opportunities for people who want to come into our program. I'm going to explain briefly what we do and what we don't do. Also have a homeownership arm to CHA. We're now getting our residents who they have a choose their own program. We have a choose their own program. We also have a down payment assistance. But for today's discussion, we're going to talk about public housing, the process, what we do, and what we don't do. So I'll give that to you.
Okay, so we have a couple questions here that we're going to go through, then we're going to open it up for you all, like I said, to be able to go through. So, ask each one of you all, could you all share what are your income limits to your program and also your requirements for accessing units? And then I'm going to ask Edwin, can you put back on our AMI chart? Because I think we'll probably reference AMI.
You want the chart or you want the graphic?
The graphics. Thank you.
Absolutely. So important for narrow units, you are just income qualified as long as you make under everyone in your household is seen on the screen is with under like a person household of 4 at the 60% income is going to be 66,000. And this table is updated from HUD every year, and it's on our website. We can get you this information readily available.
So to purchase one of our affordable homes, if you are in household of 4, your gross total household income, so that's everything anybody who's 18 or over earned, may not exceed $132,360. That's that you certainly do not need to earn that much, but you need most folks earn significantly less than that. So that's what okay, let's CHA. You guys hear me okay? Okay, a little bit louder.
Okay, so the question that I have is what documents are required for people as a part of your application and or leasing process that you may know about?
So the arrow is property managers will have their requirements, but it's really specifically income verification, just making sure that your household is under the amounts, and then getting any other things for normal renting an apartment. So nothing strange or how to go about it.
So buying your first home, documentation wherever you go. And if you haven't popped past our table yet, I strongly encourage you to get this, which has income limits on the back. And then second to last page, you'll have QR codes where you can scan and find all this full list on our website. But the nutshell version is there's a couple affidavits you'll need to sign. We'll need your financial documents, pay stubs, federal tax returns, W-2s, 1099s. And then also a pre-approval from one of our participating lenders. I think in the house today, I saw it here today. It was a month ago, there's my photo. And then your driver's license or state ID. And we are able to be flexible if we're working with this documentation or families that may not have full documentation. So just reach out to myself and my colleague Roberta, and we work with you and I can
Okay, so documentation. I'm gonna use the word verify, right? You need your ID, pretty much social security, email address, because at the end of the day, we're in an electronic society, right? So your email, that digital footprint, we're gonna need that, and all the supporting documents, ID, social security, income verification, using our word verify. And the standard, just information, and it doesn't think about CHA. I'm here, but CHA, we do have an online database. So we do capture your information, that's how you get on our wait list that's open for public housing. And then that's the start, I think we're gonna get into that. But yeah, standard documentation, that's how, what we need in addition to get you going.
I'm going to get into that kind of question and let Jessica start. Let's wait a little bit more, and then I'm going to pass that mic down to Jessica. So I'm going to go to and say, are there any additional kind of background checks, screenings, or trainings that are part of your application process? I'm going to let Jessica start with this.
Okay, so yes, we do a background check. Standard background check, within Cook County's limits. Training, there's no training needed for our, yes and no. It is some training needed if you're going for a house insurance voucher program. But for public housing, there's no additional required training initially. Again, when you get into our program, when you become a client of CHA, of course, we have different processes. But initially, to get you, started with our program, it's not required for our public housing. But the CHA, house insurance voucher program is something different, and that does require some education training.
So for our program, we don't do background screenings, but there are at least 3, possibly 4 trainings that each home buyer will go through. The first is our program orientation, which will be hosted by Roberta Posey. We're presently doing that virtual via Zoom. In tandem with that training on the same Zoom line, should you purchase a unit that would have a homeowners association, a condo, and a townhome, we'll do a condo training on that same Zoom. And then for everyone who goes through our program, we also insist that they do pre-purchase workshop from a certified agency and also one-on-one individual counseling. And today I see Jimmy Simmons from Far South in the house, and then also Emilio Esquido with Spanish Coalition. So if you or anyone you know is thinking about purchasing a home or wants to move in that direction, 100% stop by their tables, get all that information, register for one of their pre-purchase workshops.
ARO is simpler. It's property managers are the ones who have different processes, but it's generally just renting an apartment and proof that you are who you are and your income is what it is. So that's all done through the property management team, so there's no training or qualification through ARO before you can go and apply for it.
So thank you for letting us know how people can be prepared to apply. So how can people know what is available? How can they know that? And if your applications are closed or things like that, how can people stay in the know for when things may open up?
And again, this one is a little bit frustrating from my end. I'm new to the team and I want to get this process ironed out. It does really require you to use our website to find the apartment buildings and then to contact those property managers. They have the up-to-date information on which leases are coming up, what units are going to become available. So this one, we really need the renter to find that information through property managers.
Thanks, Sam. So you could go to chicagohousingtrust.org to see our available homes. If there's a red apply now button on that listing for that particular home, you can apply right now. If not, there will be one coming shortly. In the house today, we've got a couple of our listings here. I got Annette Shelton with Harrison Road and Christina Glass with Noble Square and the same. So you can talk to those ladies if you want to know more about those developments. Also, you can pop by our table and you can pick up catalog.
Okay. Our information is listed publicly on our website, cha.org. We do have a list of our properties listed available. We have, again, the wait list information is there. It is flagged what's currently open. And sometimes it might be a okay, you're in the neighborhood, you see a great apartment that you might want to apply to. You're always welcome to go into the apartment, but again, you still would need to come to our portal, but you can inquire, right? If you see a good, a place that you might want to live. It is an opportunity that you can come and talk to our management, but it starts with Dr. Alderman. The good thing about it too, it's two steps. Once you get, but once you apply, we also have waitlist information too. How to apply, what's your status, because people want to know where I am, where am I? It's all available on our website. Again, cha.org, where you can find out your placement, if some flexibility if you want to move from one apartment unit to another, it is, you have that flexibility as well. So it's all on our website.
Thanks, Jessica. You actually helped us transition to that next question. So once a person applies, how can they check the status of their application or how they know where they are in the process? So I'll pass it to Jenny and then Sam.
So we do have an online application portal. You're welcome to, submit your visits, and if you don't have all the documents on the, when you first sit down, so take as much time as you need to fill that out. And then once you submit it, they'll send you out an automated email, so you know that you received it. Usually we can turn stuff around 24 to 48 hours, unless there's a major influx or development or something. And there's, you can always email us at chicagohousingtrust@cityofchicago.org and all of that. And then have a lot of it on our website. And, if you have questions, and typically we'll do it. Have a minister or loan officer. Oh, sorry. Well, move in your own team as well. Your loan officer, your lender, an attorney, and your listing agent, or your buyer agent as well, so that the full support crew is there with you on responsibility.
Unfortunately, I'm a little bit of a broken record. My response is again through the ARO program. Once we get these units built, it is the property managers of those apartment buildings that have all of the application process. We work with long-term monitoring and compliance, who works with the property managers, but it's not information that I have.
Thank you. So at this point, we're going to open it up to go and talk to a lot of the individuals that are looking to purchase some of the units from the housing trust. We can have some of those folks here. We have providers, NHS, Spanish Coalition, Far South CDC here who can help you with housing counseling. We have lenders here. We have a wide variety of other government agencies who can help you not only with accessing affordable housing, but also talking about housing discrimination or other kinds of things that you may face in this in Europe and in your housing search. So, Ed, with, we only have one microphone, so never mind. So if you have a question, if you can speak loud, I'll repeat it, and then pass it to the appropriate